thirsty, so I had a drink.
I'm quite hot.
Yeah, or from lips.
I'm wearing pink wigs.
Joe, you need to sort that.
Hello, my name's Anna Simiaba, and today I'm here with the cast and crew of Angels in America, a play that will be on in second week at the Oxford Playhouse. Could you guys just start by introducing yourselves and the characters that you play?
I'm Salala Fiamanya and I play Mr. Lies and Belize.
Hi, I'm Jack Sane. I'm the director of the show.
I'm Regina Hellier. I'm playing the Angel, Beggar Woman, Sisterella Chapter, and Emily the Nurse.
I'm Amelia Sparling and I'm playing Harper Pitt and Martin.
I'm Dewey Young and I'm playing Joe Pitt and the Eskimo.
I'm Artie Frushan and I'm playing Lewis Aronson.
I'm Natasha Heliotis. I'm playing Rabbi, Henry the Doctor, Ethel Rosenberg, and Hannah Pitt.
I'm Ed Barsem and I'm playing Prior Walter and Man in Park.
Thanks. Jack, what made you want to put on Angels in America?
A couple of things. There's lots of issues that are really close to my heart, but more than anything, it's a really fantastic play. And it's a really ambitious play, and I think something that students should be exploring thematically, and both because it's something that's really hard to put on and stretches our boundaries in terms of our awareness and our knowledge and our capabilities. So I just thought it was a really interesting play, and I thought it would suit the stage, and I thought it was something that would be fun to explore.
And were you at all worried about the controversial nature of the play and how it might be received?
I think the very fact that the play could even be called controversial is a good enough reason to put it on, because I don't think there's anything really controversial about it. It portrays a disease in a really problematic time, and it portrays relatively simple relationships. But it does also deal with the depiction of homosexuality and the cultural appreciation of it. So there are things that I still think are relevant. There are still issues of the play that haven't been fully addressed and still need to be extrapolated. But more than that, I just think it's a really, really good play with amazing characters, and it's just a really interesting journey to take.
And Georgina, how did you find playing multiple roles and trying to make each one distinctive?
It was very challenging, particularly because they vary from being an angel to a beggar woman. So the physicality had to be shown differently for each character. And also the changing accents I found quite challenging, especially working on a Bronx accent and then having to do quite standard American proved difficult, but it was really exciting, it made it different.
Natasha, did the fact that your character is based on a real person make it easier to get into character, considering there was a lot of material about them available?
There's a lot about the story of what happened, but there's actually not a huge amount on Ethel herself. So there's enough that it's kind of exciting, and it's quite nice to have a sort of foundation to go off, but little enough that you can sort of make it your own. It's a difficulty though, because when you don't want to just try and mimic the person. I mean, Jack was quite big on making sure that, you know, she's a character in her own right in the play as well as a real person, so I guess that's been interesting.
Ed, the play tackles a lot of devastating aspects of life, like loneliness, loss, illness, and abandonment. How did you find dealing with that in rehearsals?
Really, really hard. Just every single scene is challenging and dark, and I had to come away from a lot of them feeling really quite depressed and sad. But then that's just part of he has this relationship that he really, really wants to work, but it just can't because of the pair of them. As sad as it is, and as sad as it is to go through that, it's sort of quite relieving to do it when it's pretend, rather than when it's actually you. I've lost quite a lot of weight for this, so I've just been really, really hungry. which is amazing. Your sense of humour just withers completely, and your any kind of sensitivity or time for ignorance just completely manners basically just disappear. I mean that quite seriously. It has been really, really hard, but then huge challenge.
You can love someone and fail them. You can love someone and not...
You can, theoretically, yes. Maybe an editorial you can love Lewis, but not you. Specifically you. I don't know, I think you're excluded from that general category.
You were going to save me, but the whole time you were just spinning a lie. I just don't understand.
person can theoretically love, and maybe many do, but we both know now you can't.
I do.
You can't even say
I
it.
love you, Pryor.
I repeat,
Al
who
Pacino,
cares?
Meryl Streep, and Emma Thompson are just a few of the big names who starred in the film version of Angels in America. Did you feel any pressure at all trying to live up to some of their amazing performances?
I think a lot of people differ on whether or not you should watch, if there is, for example, a film version of a play you're doing, whether or not you should watch it, and whether or not you can sort of immunise yourself against any influence of watching, for example, watch someone like Al Pacino play your character, if you're able to prevent yourself from simply mimicking him. And I personally believe that you can just sort of just examine how someone has interpreted it without that necessarily affecting your interpretation. But also I think because it's a fantastic mini-series, but also I think apart from anything else, the fact that it's a completely different medium, I mean, performing on stage to performing on screen, I think makes it a whole different kind of challenge. And so I think it's easy not to get too affected by watching.
And Amelia, has being a part of this play and discussing the issues it raised changed you as a person?
I think it has to an extent, because it's forced me to think about things that, like AIDS, although I was obviously aware of the AIDS epidemic, I didn't realise how seriously it affected the gay community, and how horrifying it was as an experience. So in that respect, it has changed me. Yeah, I think so.
You certainly look different.
I definitely look different. Yeah, I mean, even playing a man, because I play a man and a woman, that's really, really difficult, and it makes you think about questions of gender and what is the difference in physicality between men and women. It's really interesting. It's been really good.
It's been an engaging process. There are a few people in the cast who haven't actually acted on the Playhouse stage before, and it's a very big it's a different beast. You have to sort of stretch your body and your voice and all this stuff. We're in the middle of a makeup workshop, hence people looking sort of half in drag, half not.
And Archie, what's been the best part of the process so far?
Well, the play is immensely, I mean, it's been artistically very satisfying because Kusha's characters are very detailed, and you can really end up completely buying into your character and understanding every little subtlety of their behaviour and their situation, because the play is so rich and the writing is so detailed. But personally, I've just been fascinated by this depiction of the zeitgeist in America. I find American culture and politics so fascinating because it's in many ways similar to British culture, but in more ways just so different. And it's such an amazing, just little snapshot, well, quite a detailed snapshot of that period and that era in New York, which is such an amazing city and such an amazing time. So that's really interesting.
And Jack, what's been the worst part of the process so far?
Yeah, the worst
Because the play opens in second week. Because the play opens in the second week, we had a month-long break in rehearsals, which I thought was going to be a real nightmare, and it was a challenge. So we did some rehearsals in the holidays, but what it meant is we had to stage the entire play basically in the last 3-ish weeks of term, which is actually in a way kind of a good thing, because it meant that we had to focus on physicality first, and they were all off boat pretty much immediately, and it was just, so it gave us a bit more time in a way, but it was a very strange thing to handle, having a sort of 3-week rehearsals and then a month off and then another 3 weeks. Interesting, but different. Certainly something you have to adapt to. And
Georgina, what are you most looking forward to about opening night?
Personally, for me, it's going to be hanging from wires. That's going to be really exciting because we're only going to do it the day before the actual performance.
2 days before.
Two days before.
So you've never done it before?
No, just going to require on-call strength and things. So that's what I'm most excited about. And seeing it all together, seeing all the costumes and the lighting and having an audience to perform for will just transform, because it's, you get moments in rehearsal when you're worried about energy levels, but then when an audience is in front of you, it just completely transforms it. So.
And also I think lots of people will there'll be so many different opinions from everyone leaving the theatre. I'd be really interested to see who takes what. Some people will just shut off from the issues, I think. It will be a kind of epiphany. There's going to be a lot of variation and reaction to it. I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to be a part of something that's so political and challenges people's thoughts. No, definitely, because sometimes...
No, I completely agree. You're really disparaging me, but no, obviously.
It's already had a buzz around it.
Yeah.
There were protesters at a debate outside the Union.
Don't think they were there for us.
There was a debate surrounding the issue of our play.
Angels in America will be on in the Oxford Playhouse in second week, from the 23rd until the 26th.
And I keep swearing I won't go walking again, but I just can't.
I need some privacy.
That's new.
Everything's new,
I
Pryor.
try to tighten my heart into a knot, a snarl. I try to learn to live dead, just numb it. But then I see someone I want, it's like a nail, like a hot spike through my chest, and I know I'm losing.
What, an apartment too small for three, huh? Lewis and Pryor comfy, but not Lewis and Pryor and Pryor's disease.
Something like that. I won't be judged by you. This isn't a crime.